Welcome into the PHNX Daily Bet Show, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and leave a 5-star review. I'm joined by Johnny Venerable as always. How we doing, Johnny? How we feeling?
Not great. Last night was bad. Bad, or I should say yesterday afternoon with the Suns. We have a series now. I feel less worried that I did the first round against the Pelicans because Devin Booker was out. We'll get to the matchup, what went wrong, but I'm hoping it turns out okay.
So a lot of the talk today is about the questionable officiating, and I wanted to just kind of spearhead this conversation by saying I don't think it really mattered. The Mavs shot the shit out of the ball, and I don't think you're going to beat the Mavericks when they go 20 of 44 from three and Dorian Finney-Smith hits 8 of them. With that being said, there were some interesting calls and no calls, but on both sides of the ball. I think it was just bad for the game, the NBA in general last night. I don't necessarily think that there is an argument to be had that they are out for the Suns throughout. But still, nonetheless, not having Chris Paul in that fourth quarter definitely doesn't help the Suns win any games. And, if Chris Paul doesn't foul out of that game, whether there were some bad calls or not, I think the Suns win that game because multiple times they cut it down to 2, or they had an opportunity to cut it down to 2. They cut it down to 3 at one point, and you have fourth quarter Chris Paul, you're going to win more games than you're not. So, as I said, I don't think that the officiating was the difference in the game. I think it played a part, but I don't think you're going to beat the Mavs team regardless. Playing as bad as they did on defense and as well as the Mavs did on offense, shooting the shit out of the ball from beyond the arc. But with that being said, it's a 3-game series. Suns have 2 games at home. I think they'll be fine. I still think they're the better team. You just got to wait and to see what the adjustments are, and if there even are any adjustments, as Monty is being very stubborn with the lineups.
This series is over if they win Game 5, in my opinion, at home, and I expect them to do so handedly, like they won the first 2 games at home. The perimeter defense cannot get any worse, and you coupled it with the Dallas Mavericks shooting almost 50% from 3 at home, which is absurd. I will say it did feel like a 1-2 punch where every time the officiating was poor and a call went against the Suns, the Dallas Mavericks would go down and hit a big shot. So it was like a left hook, right hook instance. Especially there were swinging points in both of these games. I look back to what was it, Friday night's game where you had the kick out by Chris Paul, the big time 3, and then they called an offensive foul. Remember, it was that blatant flop from Luka, and then they went down and hit a transition 3. So I do think the officiating played a big part in it. I'm not going to sit here. I mean, I'm somebody who doesn't like to blame officials, but you look at that game and you just can't help to think that the officials were swayed by that home crowd, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate when you think about the fact that the Warriors, when we're talking about them, are looking like they're going to wrap up that series in 5, and the Suns are in for a little bit of a dogfight here.
Yeah, they mentioned on the Sun show the Kane Fitzgerald statistics of officiating crews led by him, home teams against the spread. It's just ridiculous, but it is what it is.
Take emotion out of it. Be a professional.
Yeah, home court advantage of the playoffs is a real thing. The only holy shit, what the hell is going on moment that I saw was when Jay Crowder went down with that injury and there was no stoppage in play, and the Mavericks, being scummy, just inbounded the ball immediately and hit a 3 while he was still down and wincing in pain. Thankfully, he was okay, but I thought that was ridiculous. Bless you, Johnny. I know you're sneezing with your mic muted. But yeah,
I just don't tell our audio only fans that I'm sneezing.
Is that embarrassing? You don't want to be a man
only fans, our newest sponsor. No.
Well, we voiced our concerns already. Got people in the chat. Please let us know what your concerns are heading into Game 5, if you have any, and just smash that like button while you're here. We did have ourselves some bets that were over through the weekend. We weren't able to talk about those. We weren't able to get a show in on Sunday or on Saturday for the bets, or for the fights and for the Derby. Unfortunately, thank God, because it wouldn't have mattered with the Derby as a horse that was 80 to 1-1, and I'm not going to sit here and say I was going to pick him. But my bets for the fights that I made myself went okay. Rose Namajunas did not decide to actually compete in that fight. I think she's dealing with some stuff upstairs once again, so it's just unfortunate. But the Oliveira fight went exactly as I suspected. If you guys got a chance to watch that, you would know what I mean. He just wouldn't. Gaethje didn't want to go on the ground with him, and he forced the issue. He was playing chess while Gaethje was playing hit him. Well, Gaethje, he was playing chess while Gaethje was playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots, and that fight ended pretty quickly in the first round. And then obviously everybody's seen the picture of Michael Chandler knocking out Tony Ferguson,
Abe Vigoda.
making him look like he turned into Abraham Lincoln. That was a
Let me
very
see if I
fun
can
fight.
do it real quick.
Go ahead. Yeah, Big Wheel's bringing up a guy that needs to be kicked into the face, not physically, but just maybe mentally. Cameron Payne, who's just been terrible in this series and in the playoffs in general. And yeah, the Aaron Holiday thing they've talked about ad nauseum on the Sun show. I don't know why he's not getting minutes. I've heard jokes that Cam Payne must have a crazy blackmail against Monty Williams to get this much playing time. I don't understand it, but this team was the best team in basketball all season for a reason. I think Monty just wants to stay with his rotations and stick through it. If it comes to a win or go home situation, I don't see him being as stubborn, but who knows what'll happen. As I said, let's go over our picks. Johnny, what did you have over the weekend? What were your picks?
No. All right, let's look at them. Then we can set them. I'm going to set these graphics on fire. Suns -1. No, that didn't work out. And then Joel Embiid back from the dead. The mask and all. They won both games. And of course, that started on Friday, beating the shit out of the Heat, which I do love to see. So I'm happy to be wrong about that. But the Suns, good hell, that blowout on Friday night ruined my Friday night. So missed on both picks. I thought both these series were wrapped. How can you not think that these series were not going to be competitive after these first two games? I thought that. I thought these series were done. They were over. Now there's only one series I feel that way about, and it's down by the Bay, and we're going to talk about that later in the show.
I know I had the Suns also, but I think I had an over or the under. I know it hit. So if you want to pull that up, yeah, the over in that game on Friday, that hit pretty easily.
We were bad on Friday. Let's just call what it is. We pulled the Suns. We were bad.
Or no, I had the under. Yeah, and it was 99-79. It was a gross game. So that hit. We love to see that. And then the props, I don't think I hit either of them because I think they were both Suns props. Chris Paul did not have over. He didn't have assists. Let me check on Ayton. I don't remember. It was a blur of a weekend. I don't think he hit that though. Oh no, that was a foul game for Ayton. So I don't think he got there. What did he finish with? Oh, he got 11 boards. Love to see it. Woo! So good. I went 2 for 4. We'll take that. Johnny, what were your props?
I don't want to talk about him. I don't care to look at him. Nope. Chris Paul, no. James Harden did hit his over, flipping finally, and then yesterday he dominated with over 30 points. So
yeah, it's a good sign. It's a good sign for James Harden. He's starting to play normal basketball. So definitely excited about that. Bees in the chat says certainly Suns certainly need a holiday. Yes, both ways. And then he also says in the holiday lineage we trust. I completely agree. It just, especially in a physical guy like Luka, I feel like having a point guard like that on the floor could definitely add a lot.
Is he physical or is he fake physical, fake tough guy?
He's 6'8". He's physical.
He was so I saw a tweet before we went live today. I'm sure you saw it about him. They're playing Shakira Hips Don't Lie in practice, and he's like screwing around, like because he takes all these flops and he's moving his big hips around. Makes me sick to my stomach. I hate it so much. Thankfully, it's not going to be a factor.
One thing I will say about him is he definitely, the Suns for some reason decided to like scramble and try to take him away as much as possible, which I don't understand because they won both games when he had 40. So I think they go back to their ways and just let everybody else beat you, kind of like the Steve Nash Spurs thing that they would do. And I
that Bunsen
let
game
anybody else beat you
on
and
Friday night was gross. There are so many gross Maverick performances that are complete and utter outliers from these two games. And I think that when you have confidence that you've got a 6-man, not from your bench, but of the officiating crew, that tends to happen. How many times did Brunson go to the line on Friday night? It was such a frustrating series to watch over the weekend, just because you couple the officiating with the fact that the Suns literally played their worst back-to-back games of not only the postseason, but of the regular season that I can remember. And so hopefully there are outliers, but you got to get out of this rut, and it starts with Chris Paul.
Yeah, for sure. Johnny, what would be your main adjustment you make against Luka and the Mavs?
I don't defensively. What's going on the perimeter? Your perimeter defense has been terrible. How many wide open threes from the corner have they been hitting? I would force them to play inside. They don't have any size to speak of outside of Luka. make DeAndre Ayton dominate down low, feed him the free. I was going to say feed him the football in the end zone. He'll do really well. Just the fact they got killed on their 3-point efficiency defense, and so I would just say, okay, give them contested shots, give them open shots in the mid range jumper portion of the court. And I think that I'm not Gerald Bourguet or Lindsay, but I can watch basketball with my eyes and say, hey, they have a lot of open threes. They're going to hit them at home. Maybe
Yeah.
do something to combat that.
So Jay says those are not outliers, and to some extent, I agree. Look, when you give teams wide open threes, they're going to hit them, and the Mavs hit them at a high clip, which give credit where credit is due. The Suns it's an outlier performance by the Suns by letting them hit those threes. Just let Luka get his, I think, is the main thing. And
those first 2 games where it didn't matter.
And what he was saying about Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brunson was awesome in that Jazz series, but also the Jazz perimeter defense is terrible.
Yeah,
he's definitely turned it up a notch. He played phenomenal in game 3 and had a pretty good game 4. But I think that's just another guy, like, you just can't let those guys beat you. You let Luka beat you, and then you go from there. Look, I think this is going to go 6, or I think this is obviously going 6, but I think this is probably going to go 7. I think the Suns pick up I think every team wins at home, and it's just going to be a gross game. And B's with the biggest comment in the chat saying you cannot turn the ball over. That can't happen. So just take care of the ball, take care of business, and limit those perimeter threes. Before we get into our picks, I just wanted to let you guys know, DraftKings Sportsbook, download it today. Use that promo code PHNX when you sign up and bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game. And if they do, you get $150 in free bets this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. If you're watching the Mavs Suns series and you have a bad feeling about the game, it's okay, because you could still win some money by betting on, if you think this is going to continue, you can bet on Dorian Finney-Smith to hit over 5 threes and add a same game parlay with the Mavs money line. Or if you have confidence like I do, you can bet on Devin Booker's PRA combined with Chris Paul's PRA and combined with Suns money line. But regardless, new customers who use same game parlays and bet 3 or more legs in a same game parlay can get up to $25 back if one of their legs in the same game parlay doesn't hit. So if you want to bet a first field goal scorer parlayed with a bunch of other things, and the first field goal doesn't hit, but the rest of yours does, you get your money back. And it's just that easy when you use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Once again, use that promo code PHNX when you sign up. Bet just $5 on any NBA team to win their game in the playoffs. And if they do, get $150 in free bets this week at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. That's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for more details.
David Schultz in the chat. I'm with you. Hey, how about the refs stop rigging and fixing the game? That's the only thing that needs to change. It does feel like, Shane, that the NBA wants these series to continue.
Okay. I will say this to some extent. Yeah. But also one thing that people don't get is desperation. You can't fake desperation. The Mavericks are a desperate team at home, and desperate teams at home, when they play well, they're most likely going to win games. You have to take in the desperation factor. Sure, you could argue that the foul calls, whatever, but at the same time, like, desperate teams play better basketball. That's just what they do. They play desperate, and Dallas is desperate, but they're also a good team. I think they have the second best record after the trade deadline. I'm sick of this, like, oh, the Dallas Mavericks are playing out of their minds. They're a solid team.
Here's the thing. Can we agree the Suns are a historically great regular season team? Typically, when you win that amount of games, when you win 60-plus games, you don't struggle like this in the second round. There should be a common denominator. And yes, Chris Paul needs to play better. Yes, the Suns need better perimeter defense. Typically, it's like, okay, we need a competitive series, because what is happening in that other series? They've lost their best player in Memphis. That series is going to be done in 3 days time, or whatever it is, to get 5 games in. They need this series to go at minimum 6 games. They're going to get that now because the officiating, they were fast and loose in Dallas. That can't happen again.
Yeah. I just think you play your game as the Phoenix Suns, you win. It's as simple as that.
You play your games with the networks to get more games on and more viewership, right? That's where you play your game. If you're it's not David Stern, it's what's his name? The old crypt keeper.
Adam Silver. Sick of it.
Adam Silver, the Slender Man, wants more games on TNT, wants more games on ESPN. And listen, for the 17 people watching this, we all saw it with our eyes. Okay, they were out to make this game series at least 6 games.
Wow, you're full conspiracy, Johnny. Fully.
I've seen it. I saw it with my own eyes. I feel like I have a better vantage point as a casual NBA fan, casual Suns fan, to look diehard Suns fan, but a casual NBA fan. It's not my sport, but I can look at it objectively and say, this is garbage. This is dog shit. It's at they were out to get the Suns over the weekend to get them to 6 games. I still think the Suns are going to win this series because they have home court advantage in the 7th game. They feel like now they're playing with house money. Adam Silver, Slender Man, feels like, okay, I'm going to get my 6 games in. I'm going to get my residual checks here, and we'll be fine now.
Okay, we're gonna end on this. The ref talk's over after this.
It's not.
We saw a ton of tweets flood the internet with some pretty, respected people talking about how poor the officiating was and how bad this is for the league. But it wasn't just on one side of the ball, Johnny. They were rewarding a lot of things on both sides of the ball. I think the officiating was bad, but I don't think it was out to get the Suns by any means. The Suns play better defense. They win that game. Chris Paul doesn't. You can argue that 2 of those.
Why did Chris Paul fall out though?
You can argue that 2 of those foul calls were bad, but you can't argue that they need Chris Paul to win this series. They just don't.
Here's my final point. After those first 2 series where Luka got his and these games were laughably one-sided because that's what this series should be. Slender Man, Silver Surfer, Adam Silver, as David puts it in the chat, picked up the bat phone to the officiating crew and said, we need these games to be much more competitive in Dallas. Do what you have to do. And that's all it took. Off the record. He's got one of those flip cell phones, and then he crushes it with his hands, and he throws it into the bay, right? And no one sees it. They have no paper trail of it, no electronic trail, but we know what needs to happen. And there'll be a memoir. There'll be a book about it in 15 years.
I think they'll be just fine. And I think we'll be just fine as we'll bounce back from not the best weekend of betting, 50%. You were 25, I think, but it's okay. Okay, we put those together. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Excuse me for my voice. I was screaming at Rose to do something because I had money on her. But we'll get into the NBA now. Let's talk about what we didn't talk about. We'll get into our NBA picks for tonight. Couple big games tonight, Johnny, and I know your favorite person in the entire world is playing the sport of basketball tonight, and Jason Tatum. Johnny, what do you like tonight?
Ooh, baby. Celtics tying up that series at 2-2. Probably the most competitive series in terms of game by game, not series, what it's knotted up at. This Celtics-Milwaukee series has been fantastic. Advertised. It's going to take a Herculean effort from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to overtake the NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis is no joke, clearly. But I think they get the W tonight. Take the Celtics plus money. Take the money line if you want to. They're winning tonight. That series is going to be 2-2, heading back to Boston. And then the Warriors tonight. They're going to old yeller the Memphis Grizzlies. They're gonna skin their bearskin rug. They won by 30 plus points the other night. We don't get our guy John Morant. He's out. He's not. I don't think he's going to play the rest of the series. His ankle is looking like a balloon. Supposedly, I have that per my sources. I don't, but he's not playing tonight, and it's not going to matter. Even if he was playing, this series was done the minute they lost game 1. If they had taken game 1 in Golden State, I would have been a believer. They blew that game. I knew these games. Didn't I tell you Friday night, Shane? Once these games got back to Golden State, they would be laughably one-sided. So,
Jay with a pretty funny chat up top. He said Adam Silver is telling the Suns to leave the Suns players. Or
listen, we started the show, Jay, and I said their perimeter defense was awful. But you can still be awful on the perimeter and not be embarrassed by the officiating.
All right. Well, we'll get into my picks for tonight. I disagree with you completely, Johnny.
Oh, God.
10 points is so much. This Grizzlies team was fine without John Morant. And I know the Warriors are this juggernaut of the West. And I know they've been playing really well. I don't think they're going to win by 10 plus. The Grizzlies are going to show too much heart tonight. I think we're expecting a really good game. Yes, Johnny, heart. I think it's going to be a very fun game. I think 10 points is just too much, too juicy to pass on. And then I don't know what's going to happen in this Boston-Milwaukee game. Milwaukee looks really damn good right now, even without Chris Middleton. I think the Bucks probably win this game, but I'm staying away from the spread. I'm just going to take the under. Both teams are really taking pride on the defensive side of the ball, and 212 is a good number to look at. So I'm taking the under at 212.5. But I don't see the Warriors spanking that ass, as you said.
They're going to take him behind the barn.
Oh.
And it's going to be, I'm going to get my bearskin rug, right? And it's going to be Steph Curry putting his feet up on the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. Listen, I hate the fact that the Suns have to scratch and claw because of the officiating to now go to a game 6 or a game 7, and the Golden State Warriors are going to have ample time off. But maybe it's a silver lining, right? Because I like to look at that. Maybe the Suns get back on track, play their best basketball, and then they get a Warriors team that's inevitably cold because the series is over. The Suns drew, I think, two of the toughest matchups to begin the postseason for a number one seed. I will say that, Shane. I would much rather have Memphis, even with John Morant, because of their inexperience, compared to a Mavericks team that's, consistently ever since they had Luka, a threat to make an advance in the playoffs. So I don't think the Suns are been given any favors. Remember last year it was all about all the favors that the Suns had gotten in route to the Western Conference Finals, the NBA championship. They're not getting any favors this year.
Yeah. So before we get into our picks, I just wanted to say this again, Johnny. You're going completely opposite of what you said. You said that the refs want to extend the series,
They
yet you're
do.
taking the Warriors to dominate tonight.
Well, because here's the thing. Let
Okay.
me tell you something.
Okay.
Right. The
I'm
Warriors
ready.
are the NBA darling. They
Uh-huh.
want to ensure
Sure.
that the Warriors are in the
Sure.
Western Conference Finals. I also do believe that it's good for the NBA and Adam Silver for the Warriors to be rested to give additional time for Klay Thompson because he is coming off a major injury, right? Draymond Green missed time. They are doing Listen, the Warriors are made men in the NBA. Until the Suns win their series and get respect and win an NBA championship, all bets are off. They can have. You think Adam Silver cares if the Suns lose in the semifinals for a team that
Think he
hasn't won a
cares anything.
championship? They have to have the Warriors in the conference finals. They cannot have Grizzlies Suns. They just
I
can't,
did
even though
not
they're the one
expect
and the
to be
two
doing
seed.
a show with tinfoil Tommy today, but here we are.
Get the
I
X
guess
Files music going on. Can we get
the
that?
reason why I have the Grizz plus 10 tonight is because of desperate teams, and that's the narrative, Johnny. Desperate
I'm
teams
desperate.
cover the spread, so
I'm
I'm taking
desperate
that
for a Cardinal free agent
to
signing.
the
Can we get
bank.
one of those?
Before we get into our props, I did just want to ask the chat. Let's stop talking about the narrative in the chat and let's start talking about what we like tonight. So drop your favorite prop tonight or for tomorrow night. What do you like the most on the DraftKings Sportsbook app? What do you like the least? If you hate our picks, tell us. Be vocal. But yeah. I'm dark now.
Yeah, you've been blacked out
All right.
because
Well,
your horrendous takes. I like
let's get your
Kahana.
props up there, Johnny. Then.
Nope,
And we'll,
Kahana makes great sense. And let me get this point out real quick. Big market versus small market. That's the chessboard, baby. That's right. That's how Adam Silver thinks. He'd love the Lakers to be in the playoffs. They just screwed themselves. I love Jordan Poole tonight, over 24.5 points. They want to get Jordan Poole going. He hasn't been playing well as of late. They want to get him going en route for the Western Conference Finals. I think they will feed him tonight at home. He always plays better at home, plus 250. I think that's a lock. And then Jason Tatum. I love this one. 5.5 threes. I think you can get right now over 5 threes, or excuse me, over 4 threes is only like 150. So you might as well go over 5. Get him at plus 350. Parlay these two together. I love the value because I think both the Celtics and the Warriors are going to win, and they're going to win convincingly. And I think the two catalysts in both those games are going to be Poole and Tatum. So find yourself a fun prop like this one on the DraftKings Sportsbook app to make some money as a result. I think we have Shane. Shane from PHNX Bets Daily Podcast is back with us. Can I
I'm still
confirm that?
here. I'm still
Okay.
here. We're
No,
just
you were
working
kicked
on some
off.
camera stuff. But I did just want to say how much I absolutely hate the Jason Tatum prop. Chat, let me know if you agree with me. I
They
think it's
don't.
gross, and plus
They agree with me.
350 is not good value. And you know what is good value? Mr. Al Horford. Give me Al Horford over 11.5 points. He's smashed through this a couple times in the series. I think they're going to need him tonight. And then I'm staying away from Jason Tatum's 3, but points and rebounds only at 34.5 for a guy, as much as I hate to say it, Johnny, who's been playing some really, really good basketball. So I'm taking Jason Tatum over 34.5 points plus rebounds. A Celtics heavy prop day for me, Johnny. Isn't that exciting?
I'm confused. Are we trying to make folks money? Are we trying to have them invest in minus 110 here on a Monday doubleheader? I don't listen. If you want to make
Johnny,
real money
every
with
single
me,
prop I give to the people is usually around minus 105 or minus 110 because I don't take flyers every day like you do.
I'm sorry, Shane's playing it safe. You might. I'm a safety man. I do the crosswalk. I'm a
Do you
safety
want me to
guard.
pull up
Minus
your
110.
statistics on your
Minus minus
picks that are over
110.
plus 200 right now?
I'm
It's
sorry.
egregious.
I remember a certain someone hitting first field goal plus 1,200 not too long ago. So
Yeah,
if you
you're
want to
1
make
for 26 on those.
you
Congratulations.
got to make money to spend money, folks. If you want to nickel and dime your way to an ice cream cone, minus 110 is the way you do it. Congratulations. Hooray, minus 110.
Oh, Johnny.
You want me to outro the show?
No, we'll come back to us real fast. I'm still dark, I
Will
think.
we?
I
Will
think
we?
my camera just needs to be turned on. There we go.
Ooh, that looks
Oh, hi,
good.
Emma.
Hey, producer
Switch
Emma.
it. There we go. And hello. We're back.
We are
Fantastic.
back.
Well, to all the 24 people watching on the PHNX Daily Bad Show, it's been a pleasure as always. You can follow me on Twitter at Shane D. If you can follow Johnny on Twitter at Johnny Venerable. You can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_bets. And remember, guys, don't get bullied into taking better odds just because your co-host tells you when you have a better record betting on the NBA. Peace, love, and PRA.